Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to select File, New Virtual Machine, Custom, and I will install the operating system later. That. And we're going to rename this virtual machine. This one we're going to name Windows 7, and this one's going to be called Deployed Image. Deployed Image. Click Next. That's 2 processors and 2 gigabytes of memory. Again, you may need to use bridge networking on your setup. On mine, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as network address translation, or NAT. We're going to leave this the same. Select IDE and create new virtual disk. And this one we're going to just leave at 60 gigabytes, but we are going to store the virtual disk as a single file, and select Next. Then select Next, and then select Finish. And then now what we need to do is we need to return to our fresh install, and this hard disk that we gave 40 gigabytes that we have captured our image and stored our image on, we need to go ahead and remove this. So if you don't remove this, if you miss this step, your deployment may fail. So I'm going to go ahead and select Remove. Okay. And then I'm going to go back here to the deployed image that we just created. I'm going to go to Settings, and we are going to find that, and we're going to add it. So we have hard disk selected. Select Next. IDE. Select Next. Instead of creating a new virtual disk, we're going to use an existing virtual disk. Select Next. Now we're going to browse to that file, and it's in Virtual Machines, and under Fresh Install you can see that we have 2 of them. We have this Fresh Install, and then we have Captured Image, and we want the captured image. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and then I'm going to select Finish, and then you can see that it was added right here. Go ahead and select OK, and you can verify 60 gigabytes the one we just created, 40 gigabytes the one we just added. So perfect. One more thing we should have done is verify that we have our PE image ISO image selected. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. ISO image, and you can see that I still have the Windows 7 PE ISO selected. 7 PE ISO, so we're good. So go ahead and select OK. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click, and we're going to power on to firmware or BIOS, and then I'm going to click inside here and arrow over to boot, and then we want to bump the CD-ROM up again. So I'm going to hold down Shift and press plus twice. Then once I've done that, now I'm going to hit F10, which is going to prompt me to save. And when I hit enter for yes, I'm going to need to quickly hit any key to boot from the CD. So I'm going to go ahead and enter and then press a key, and you will see that it will boot from the CD. And again, you may need to wait a little bit for this prompt to be ready. In this case, it happened pretty quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and type disk part. Then I'm going to type list disk. And you can see here that we have disk 0, 60 gigabyte with 60 gigabytes free, which is the one we just created. And then we have disk 1, which has 40 gigabytes, 0 gigabytes free, and that is the one that we added. We're going to select the disk with the free space, so we're going to select disk 0, and is now the selected disk, and we are going to clean it, and then we are going to create a partition primary, and then we're going to select partition 1, and then we're going to format it. So I'm going to type format quick with the NTFS file system and a label of deployed image, and double check that you've input everything correctly. Format quick, fs equals NTFS, label equals deployed image. Looks good. And then we wait for that to complete. Okay, and when that is finished, then we are going to go ahead and type assign active list volume. Okay, and this would be another point in which you would want to get a pen and paper and write down the information that you're going to need. In this case, you're going to write down that the volume 0 is the letter D and is the CD-ROM, and volume 1 is C, is the captured image with the 39 gigabytes, and that volume 2 is letter E and is the deployed image, 59 gigabytes. Okay. And then what we're going to do is, and the reason we write this down, if you make any mistakes and you need to remember what all this information was, you just have it on a sheet of paper right in front of you and ready to go. Because you can also, if we were to exit, you know, if we had made some mistakes, for instance, you can clear the screen and start back over. So just to give you an idea how you move back and forth between these, you would just type disk part to get back into disk part, exit to exit, or go back into it, list disk, So you can still get back to it, but if you have entered something in wrong and you have a whole bunch of information on the screen, sometimes it's easier just to have that information on a sheet of paper in front of you in case you need to refer to it. So the next step, we are going to select volume, and we're going to select the captured image volume, which is the 39 gigabytes, or the C. So we're going to select volume C, and we're going to assign the letter H to that volume. And then we are going to select the deployed image. So select volume, and the deployed image is E with 59 gigabytes. So select volume E, and then we are going to assign letter C, and then we are going to exit, and then whichever drive you wrote down as your CD-ROM drive, so in my case it was D, I'm going to type in D, and you can see that now we are inside the D directory, or the CD-ROM drive. Okay, we are getting closer to completing this, so now we're going to go ahead and apply the image. So we are going to type in Imagex and apply, and we're going to apply H win7.wim win7, and we're going to apply it to the C directory. So double check this code before you press enter. It should say Imagex/apply H :/win7.wim, then in double quotes win7, and then C:, and then press enter. And then we wait for that process to complete, which could take about 13 to 15 minutes depending on your how your system is set up. Okay, when your image has been successfully applied, then the next part is we need to just ensure that volume C is the active volume. So we're going to type disk part, select volume C, and make it active. We'll go ahead and select exit, and then there is one final step before we shut this down, and that is we need to add the boot files. So we're going to type in bcd boot to Windows, to the C drive in the Windows directory. Press enter. Boot file successfully created. And then we're going to go ahead and type wpe util shutdown. Okay, and then see this drive right here, this 40 gigabyte one, captured image drive, we need to remove that one because we're no longer going to need it. So select remove, and we're not going to need this ISO image in here anymore. So we'll select that and select OK. Okay, and then we'll go right click on this tab and go down to go to power, and we are going to power onto firmware or power onto BIOS. I'm going to click in here and arrow over to boot, and what we're going to do is we're going to move the ROM back where it was. So it should look for removable devices first, then the hard drive, then the CD-ROM. And then we're going to hit F10, and when we hit enter, we're not going to touch anything this time because we're not booting from the CD-ROM drive. So we're just going to press yes, and then that's it. We let it go and let it do its thing. And what it's going to do now is it's going to find those boot files that we added, and it's going to go ahead and start Windows based on our captured image that we deployed. Okay, if you see this error message appear when your Windows is loading, this is a bug that has something to do with the registry key being too large in the Windows file that we captured. So there is a hotfix for this. What you're going to need to do is to hold down Shift and press F10, and when you do that, it's going to open up the command prompt. After the command prompt opens up, we're going to change directory to OOBE. So type in CD for change directory, and then type in OOBE for out-of-box experience, and press enter, and then you're going to type in MS OOBE. And when you close that, Windows is going to reload with Windows 7 Professional, or whichever version of Windows you happen to be using. Go ahead and click Next. Type in a username. Type in Bradley for myself, and click Next. Password. Enter in whatever password you would like. Since this is just a practice machine, I'm just entering in password and none. And then uncheck the box that says automatically activate Windows when I'm online. And click Next. And then I accept the license terms. Next. And ask me later. And you will notice that the time is still set at the time that I had set this to when I had captured it. I'm going to click Next. Then you're just going to close these boxes and let Windows try and start up again. You can see Windows is starting. I'm going to just click OK here. You may or may not get this. It'll pop up, and then restart now. Then I'm just going to sign back in. And there you have it. So you have now officially captured an image and deployed it on another machine. So good job everyone, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out learninghowtocode.com for more video tutorials.